Hi, William Wood here. I'm a hypnotist with Northern Utah Hypnosis Center, and I'd like to talk just for a minute about what you're going to see here in just a moment, which is absolutely evidence of the power of hypnosis to help people overcome fears. Several weeks back, I was doing a B&I demonstration. B&I is a business networking group here in Ogden. We meet every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. down at the Ogden Country Club. And I was giving a short 8 to 10 minute presentation on what hypnosis was. As I stood up, I asked the group, do you want to hear me talk about hypnosis or do you want me to show you something? And they all wanted me to show them something. Now, I specialize in a kind of conversational hypnosis. It doesn't require that deep trance. I can do all that, but I find that most of the time you just don't need it. And so I invited 3 volunteers up to the front of the room that had fears. One of them is the gentleman that you'll see in this video, Boomer Smith. Now, Boomer has given me permission to use his name and his in this video that you'll see in here in just a minute. But Boomer had a terrible fear of snakes. He was so afraid of snakes that he said that even if there was one in the room, he would have gotten up just running out terrified out of the room if there had even been a snake in the room. Even talking about it, his face got all flushed and his hands got sweaty and his heart started to race. And when I asked him how intense his fear was on a 0, I think in the meeting I was scaling between 0 and 10, but just to keep it consistent with the video, we'll call it a 0 to 100 scale. He said it was an 8 out of 10 or an 80 out of 100. And really, frankly, it looked like it was probably a little bit more intense than that. I mean, he was really struggling even with just the thought of it. Well, in that B&I demonstration, I had a timed presentation, so I had no more than 10 minutes. And by the end of that presentation, he said his fear had been significantly reduced. Enough that he agreed to go down to the local pet store with me. We met at PetSmart down here off of Riverdale Road in Ogden. And we were going to see what his fear was like actually in the presence of a snake. Now, when we got to the store, his fear went up a little bit higher than it was in the absence of a snake. And this is a really normal thing to have happen. So just the thought about it isn't as fear-provoking as actually being in the presence of. So we had him right in front of the cages, and I had him scale his fear again, and I think this is on camera. He said it was a 60 out of 100, but he was already feeling more relaxed. He was still carrying some tension around his shoulders, and if you look carefully in the video, you'll probably see quite a bit of color up here. Right underneath his eyes as he was having that fear response. What you can't see on camera is that his hands were just absolutely pumping up and down like this, even thinking about having that snake come out of the cage. Well, I stopped the camera. I promised him I wouldn't actually do the hypnosis on camera, just for his own privacy, and we went through and we spent about 15 minutes doing the bulk of our intervention. It was about 12:30 when we started. It was 12:45 when we called for the assistant, Tricia, to go ahead and I think that was her name, Tricia, to pull out the snake, the corn snake, and have him touch it. Now, a corn snake is a pretty small snake, but he said that even the thought of touching a snake before this would have just been no way. I mean, even having the cage open in the same room, he said he would have ran out of the room in panic. And within just those 15 minutes, plus the 5 or 10 minutes we spent during the presentation at B&I, he was able to handle that snake in a totally calm and collected sort of way. So watch this video and realize that hypnosis is powerful and it can help you overcome your fear, whatever it may be. And I am William Wood with Northern Utah Hypnosis Center. I specialize in conversational hypnosis, so I can do hypnosis without the trance. So with that, look forward to having you watch the video. Please leave me a comment after the video and let me know what you think.